Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Meet the Artists webinar. I'm Jeff Sass. I'm the CMO of .art Registry, and on behalf of Ovi and the entire .art team, it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar. We're going to have a very exciting discussion with an extremely talented artist about mastering ID.art. So stay tuned for a great discussion, and we'll get started with that in just a moment. I wanted to thank everyone again for being here. This is already the end of September. It's hard to believe. I want to remind you that next month, October, is the month of International Artist Day, which is October 25th. So stay tuned. We're going to be announcing some fun things we hope to be doing to celebrate all of the artists out there and all of you on International Artist Day. So stay tuned for that. And as a reminder, at .art, everything we do supports the Art Therapy Initiative. This is our charitable mission where we really strive to promote awareness of the healing powers of art. And that's very important to us. It's a very personal story inspired by our official artist, Medina Kasimova. And I also want to mention that we're members of the American Art Therapy Association, and we're going to be exhibiting at their conference in early October as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us to continue to spread the word about the healing powers of art and meet with and talk to many art therapy practitioners. So everything .art does is really to support this important mission. So I just want to mention that. So we thank you for joining us today because that also helps us support the Art Therapy Initiative. With that, I want to introduce our moderator for today. It's my pleasure to introduce Anastasia Sukhanova, who will be our moderator, and she will introduce our featured artist today. Thanks again for joining us and enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Jeff, for the intro. My name is Anastasia, and it's my pleasure to introduce Jesús Rojas, who is one of our most dedicated ID.art users. He's been with the platform for a while. And Jesús is an artist from Peru who is now based in the US. And please, have the stage and tell us a little bit about your background, your art, what kind of artwork you do, and what challenges have you faced on your creative path. Hi, Jesus.
Good morning, Anastasia, and good morning, Jeff, and the tech team. Thank you for having me. If I'm here, it's because I'm very happy with .art. I mean, it has been a wonderful, wonderful venue, a wonderful tool, especially, and have helped me, advance my career professionally. Well, my story is pretty long. I'm not gonna bother you with the whole thing, but basically, I have always paint. I have always been an artist, a visual artist. I have done all kinds of things. I have done illustration, graphic design, printmaking. But lately, I focused. I will say the past 10 years, I have been focusing just on painting. When I say painting, it's also watercolors and such, and drawing. So that's basically what I do. Like I said, I started in Peru as an illustrator when I graduated from the School of Art, and then slowly, my self-expression started winning over commercial. Because I had to make a living in order to be able to do my art. So, in other words, at the beginning, I was doing something commercial like graphic design or illustration, but I always, since I was like, I don't know, 7 years old, I always did my own thing, So then I was able to manage, and I'm very blessed because I never had to do anything other than art, and that's wonderful. I mean, there's a lot of people that have to, in order to do their art, they have to go through a lot of, obstacles and a lot of challenges, and not only that, derail a little bit doing. One of my best friends, for example, he always had to do catering, with the wife in order for him to be able to support his painting. Me, I'm lucky. I was able to go through it. And to give you some credit too, I like to get into contests, and that helped me out. As a matter of fact, when I was 7 years old, my parents took me to the zoo, and in the zoo, there was a little and I wanted to try. They were giving free colors, free watercolors. So that's it. And I just wanted to have fun. I won the contest. So of course my parents were, wow, it's my kid and all that stuff. But for me, it was like a incredible experience, And I think that is a great start because I never stopped doing it since that time. And today I'm really fulfilled with, I have gallery representation. I'm able to paint, when I please, which is wonderful for an artist to have that freedom of using your time as it fits and doing only that. I was an art director until 2020 because of the COVID thing. That's it. The company was finished, and it was amazing because it's like I start just painting, and I haven't stopped, and I keep producing, I keep doing my art, and so that's it. I have been very blessed as a person and as an artist because I have been able to fulfill what I consider I was born for. And that's my duty, that's my vision, and I keep doing it. And in the path, I met many wonderful people, and I'm glad that I met you guys, which is you have been wonderful too. Like I said, for what I do.
That's definitely a blessing how you describe your path and the fact that you've been able to do just art. But you're talking now from the point of view where all those things have already happened. How about as you were starting off on your artistic journey? What were the things that were tough, for example, in terms of having your art on digital platforms? What did you think of them? And how did all this lead you to discover ID.art? How did you discover it?
Oh my goodness. Things have changed so fast, especially with technology. In the old days was really hard. It's like I find besides that art, which is wonderful. I mean, thanks to social media, also things have changed tremendously. But at the beginning, it was hard to knock at doors. At galleries, it was very hard to get into a gallery. For people to pay attention to you, to have exposure. I will say the big challenge for an artist many years ago was how do I make my art seen and known, and it was really hard. It was really hard, and to get the attention from somebody to just to get involved with you and to help you and support, because artists really depend on the support of society and of people. I mean, it's without people around us, it's impossible for us just alone, And it's like, and I'm one of those that try to tend very much to myself. So, and I remember my father telling me, like, people are not going to come and knock at the doors and ask, this is how an artist is gonna, you have to go out. And that had been really hard through the years for me. So that's when the contests came. I won several contests back in Peru, here in Florida. Even I have an award from Chrysler in Texas. And because of that award, then I had a showing. So I had to move a lot, And I'm glad that I'm getting older and things are becoming easier, in the sense that now with social media, or with the site that I have with you guys, have made things really easier. Now there's competition, which is another subject, But that's it. When you are true to what you do for your creation, and you are like really honest with yourself and with your creativity, and you work. Of course, you have to work hard. There's no way you cannot succeed, And so I would say today is easier for an artist. The downside of it is technology is going too fast. At least it's going too fast for me right now. But it has been an incredible lift as an artist to move forward. So that's basically it. Like exposure. exposure is what is the most the bigger challenge for an artist, no?
Yeah. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Yes, I think as we were talking behind the scenes, actually, Jesus, you mentioned that ID.art was there for you when you were seeking gallery representation. So did you, when you initially started as a user of ID.art, was that your purpose to have something comprehensive to communicate with galleries, or what were you looking for?
This is great because I used to have my own website, at the time that, to do a website was, to upload the things and you have to hire somebody. And I still maintain an old website, but it's fading, But when I come across with .art, it was fantastic. First of all, it's so easy. It's so easy to manage. It's such a friendly user platform that immediately the first thing I saw the potential of having a nice, clean, sharp portfolio, and that has been wonderful because that have allowed me not only to sell work, but it also have given me the gallery that I'm with right now. Because in order for the gallery to select my work, it has to go through, the page I have with you guys. So it was tremendous, and then the flexibility also. I love the flexibility. Besides the fact that you can, do mint work for NFTs, blah 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 blah. You can manage to set it up in a way that fits more. For example, at one point, I had my prices on of the pieces, and I did sell a few pieces, but then I have a few conflicts with it in marketing and stuff. And even the gallery told me, it's like we cannot offer certain prices, and you have also other prices, and you're gonna have to. And it was so easy just to mute it, and just have the images. Like if you go right now there, you will see that you cannot see the price unless you request it.
Yeah, so the artwork is there, but it says not for sale, and then that way it can still be there, and they can contact you, whoever is looking at it.
Correct.
Maybe let's have a look at ID.art. If you could share your screen.
Yeah, sure. I will. And the other thing before that is, the fact that you can also, you can offer work for sale or not, and that's wonderful. You can even say the reasons by whatever. Let's look at it. Enter screen, select screen. Okay. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it. It's
Okay.
there. If you could just walk us through it a little bit and explain.
Well, yeah, basically, I mean, this is my work, what you are looking here, and that's another thing I love about this platform. I was able to put everything. It's like eventually I'm planning to be more specific because you have all kinds of things. Like for example, you have from paintings that are square, that are round. To my painted stones, for example, which I would like later to put it in a different category. But the comments I receive from people is like, no, it's wonderful that you have all sprinkled out, And the reason why it's like this is because I just load stuff, So everything is a mixed match. Then I have my watercolors, for example, right here, or my sketchbooks, which are not for sale, for example. And that's something I like, It's like you can clearly say it's not for sale. You can enjoy the image, but not necessarily you can purchase it, and then you buy, and when you go to buy, they're gonna directly request the price. Before I spent a lot of time putting prices, but I figured out it's better not to have them, But that's the beauty of it, you choose what to do. So this is, you see painted boxes that I did, etc.
Maybe you can click on one of the artworks to show what an individual page looks like.
Yeah.
That's a useful feature.
Yeah.
So
This is the beauty of it. For example, this painting, right? You can you can call the owner. I can lead you either. I do the business with you directly, or I can use the gallery as well. That is wonderful, and you can read all not only all the description about the work, which is great. You can also convert it into an NFT. You can mint it. In other words, you can share it, on social media. You can, read my bio and stuff, blah blah blah, and you can add things, because I'm sure there's more stuff to be done, which I haven't really into it, and like this is also what I like about this. I started when this was even in an experimental stage, and slowly I saw all the improvements, and at this point I have to hold on. I got derailed.
Yeah, this is
You guys are very helpful. In other words, each time I had a question, each time I have an inquiry or something to learn, especially Jeff, he answers right away. And tries to fix whatever is my concern. And that's wonderful. I mean, it's.
Oh, that's okay. That's just
So that's it. This is the big painting that is on the background right now,
yeah.
and so forth and so on. And you can keep loading and loading. Well, look at that. It's like, and like I said, it's so easy. It's so friendly user. That you can go on and on and on, and you can edit it. And
So this is like an artist catalog or a catalogue raisonné.
yes, basically that's what it is. I'm sure there are artists that are more. I consider myself pretty organized, but still, you can go even further. I'm sure you can put, history of the piece, etc., etc. I have not really used the full extent of what .art offers. Mainly because I spend my time painting and stuff, and I have to come back and update my page, by the way, because I have brand new pieces, and I'm gonna, put them, as these other ones here, and blah blah blah. But like I said, is like you said, it's a wonderful portfolio. It's a wonderful, way to show your work, and this is another thing that I like. As you see, it's clean, sharp. You can go click, and you can find more information about whatever you're interested in, so forth and so on. You can contact me right away, and of course these are not for sale because these are my sketchbooks. So
And you can enlarge the image if you click on it, right? So
yeah, well, not here, I think. Well, or at least I don't know how to do it here, but no, that's as large as it goes. Let's try to open a large painting. Maybe that's what it is.
And as you can see, Jesus has his dedicated ID.art domain. So it's jesusrojas.id.art, and that's also very clean. So that way there's nothing distracting you from the artist's name.
Yeah. So that's basically it,
Perfect. And you can upload multiple images of the same artwork if there is like the back of the artwork where you have the signature and things like that.
Correct. You can also provide through you guys. You can provide, or through the site, you can provide the how do you call it, the certificate of authenticity.
Yes. Have you had a chance to use that feature, because it's very easy to generate?
I haven't used it just because of the gallery is taking care right now, but I have to do it myself. I can do it.
Yeah. There is another thing at the very top of the webpage. There is a QR code which you can also use to give out to people to connect to your ID.art profile. I don't know if that's something you use, Jesus, but I think it's quite.
No, I'm not. No, you know what? I'm not very. Did I stop sharing? Yeah, right.
Yes, you did.
No, because you know what? I really have not been really into it. I'm sure there's way more stuff, But I go as I need, as I need the site. But like I said, so far have been a wonderful tool. I mean, it's like promotion wise, it's like I just put my .art, name, and that's it. I have these printouts that I pass, and people contact me. It's like, oh, beautiful site, beautiful, it's like blah blah blah. So it's an incredible tool. I mean, the gallery is using it for them to look at my work and select stuff, and so that's it. And it's way much better than to having just your own website, which is very limited actually. I'm talking about those that you just do it yourself kind of thing. They don't have all these possibilities that art has. So in other words, bottom line, I'm happy with using it.
That's great. So I guess it kind of serves you as a one point of entry for everything you have, because you can share it with the gallery, you can share it with your customers, it can be used for direct marketing, you have your social media there connected to your profile, right? So it's kind of, if you had to share one platform, then everybody could find there what they need, right?
Yeah, it's one serve all. I mean, it's one spot, and it can accomplish all kinds of things.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the fact that, when you are on social media platforms, for example, you don't exactly own the content of what you're posting. So there is kind of danger in terms of protecting your IP rights. And does ID.art make you feel safer because it's really out there with your name and you can generate certificates of authenticity and share it with the gallery? So what do you think of that?
Well, yes. I mean, I can manage my content in a very more flexible and free way. Social media in that sense is limited, and sometimes you can I mean there is the censor thing sometimes, because in my work sometimes I portray sexuality, for example, and social media doesn't tolerate that, but you can go to my site and my paintings are there, and it's up to you. So yeah.
So if you could give an advice to artists at any stage of how to best go about digitizing the artwork, and because you went through all the stages of it and you arrived at ID.art, what do you think is the best mix to have so you can easily represent yourself and seek out gallery support and try to directly market to your customers?
I mean, I will say do it like I did, which is when I started, loading my things, then, maybe not this piece, load what you like, load that work that you really, really like. And that's it. And slowly it's gonna, the same side is gonna, plus it's fun. It's fun when you start placing your things. It's a lot of fun. And, some marketing people, can give you some advice of put this or put that. In my case, they recommend me always don't put too much erotic stuff, or because not everybody, blah blah blah. Which in a way I listen to, but you have to listen to yourself. And at least for me, have worked. The gallery doesn't mind, doesn't put certain pieces, doesn't choose certain pieces, but have been wonderful just to show the work. So I think it's also a wonderful. I mean, your work markets its own. I mean, if your work is liked, if your work is preferred, if your work grabs attention, of course it's going to be. But if on top of that you have a venue like this, it's easy to to make the access to your work. So that's it. I will say just start loading it, and you take it from there, and it's fun. Like you saw, I have tons of work already, and I'm gonna be loading more because I've been months that I haven't loaded the new paintings that I've been working on.
Jesus, one of the things that you mentioned, and one of the features that ID.art has that you can take advantage of if you haven't already is creating collections, because as we've seen, you have so much artwork, so much of your work up there in your profile page. One of the great features, I think, is if you wanted to submit 10 or 20 items to a gallery or to an art fair, instead of having to upload those things all over again and send them to that gallery or that art fair, you can literally, in your dashboard, as you know, you can just check off the 10 items you're interested in, and it'll create a collection of just those 10 items with a dedicated page and a link and a QR code that you can then send to that gallery or art fair to show them just those 10 things, you know. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know, the only thing I have in the back of my mind is to do a little collection. I noticed that in the NFT conversion, the minting thing, I saw some about that collection. But what you are telling me, I'm gonna check, because that will be great. Instead of me going to my computer, selecting the work, my work is already.
No, that ID.art becomes your dashboard for all of that stuff. So you've uploaded over 100 things, it looks like, 100 images, right? So in your dashboard, you can create a collection and just check off the checkbox next to the images you want to include in that collection. And then it'll create a separate web page with just those images, with a link and a QR code that you can share. And this way you can categorize your stuff. You mentioned earlier that when you have time, you'd like to categorize your different types of artwork. So you can do your canvas paintings, a collection of them. You can do a separate collection of all of your painted stones, for example. So all of that is very easy to manage. And really, it's just one of the powerful features of ID.art. It's kind of one and done, meaning upload all your artwork one time, and now you have it available for whatever use case, whether you want to send it to a gallery, whether you're doing a show and you're showing stuff in a fair and you want to put the QR code next to the item so people can get all that information that's associated with it. You only have to do it once with ID.art, and then it can follow you and your artwork wherever you go.
I just make a note of it. I mean, I'm gonna check it. Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting that you mentioned how the gallery is using it now that you have gallery representation. And I think, again, along those same lines of one and done, you've already taken the time to upload all of this detailed information about each image, the story behind it, your story, etc. Now the gallery has access to that information for the images that they're representing very easily. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to start all over again. And again, as Anastasia mentioned, each of your images, each twin, we call them a digital twin in ID.art. Each one has a dedicated QR code that links to that page for that twin. So in the gallery, they could be putting the QR code for that image. And when someone's viewing your work in the gallery, they can scan that code and see all of that background information that you've provided for that image.
Absolutely. I mean, the director came just once to my place, to look at, because they need to see, that is real, how the painting looks in reality. But that was many months ago, and then after, it's just been my page. It's just been my page. It's, how about this one, and how about that one? So yes. But now that I know that I can even do a QR for a little collection, that's wonderful. You send the QR and that's it.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, these are the pieces I want to put into this particular show or fair or whatever you want to share it with. And the certificates of authenticity also have that QR code on them also, so they link back to that page for that particular twin or that particular work of art. So it's a very powerful and easy to use platform in that regard.
Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, bottom line, it's wonderful. How about you? Can you show me your painting? That's it. Go there. Check it out.
Yep.
I like how you mentioned that artists should be uploading really what they like on ID.art, because that's the most important part, is also to have fun. But to somebody with a new profile, what would you recommend they do right away so that it's kind of done and can be shared? Like, what would
your little story, your introduction, and the most representative pieces of what you do. When an artist is young or when an artist is starting, that sometimes is hard. You don't have really developed language, but what you consider very dear to you and you think you have already touched on a path that you're going to be following, those are the words you should be portraying. It's like, and of course you can change it later down the road. It's like you can. I used to do that. Then you evolve, you improve, or whatever is the case, and then you look back and it doesn't feel right anymore, and then you can. But at the beginning, just go with your heart, go with your instinct. It's like because these things are like that. Whenever you feel comfortable with something, or it's like as soon as I touch that art thing, it's like I like it. And I think Jeff can tell you, because when I met him and we get a chat, and on top of that, it's like wow, it's like, and that's another thing I like, how accessible you guys are. How easy it is to access you if you have a consultation or and Jeff can tell how many times I have written to them. It's like, and they answer right away. If it's not him, it's some assistant or somebody. So that's a plus. It's like the coaching. And,
I remember when you minted your first NFT inside of ID.art, you were very excited how easy it was.
Yes. Oh yes. And I made quite a bit of those. I haven't really did a sell an actual NFT, but they are ready for whoever wants to go there and purchase.
Some of the things that we've seen some artists do, which is kind of fun, is you can do both. So for your physical paintings, when someone buys the painting, you could actually give them the NFT to go along with it, so that they have, a digital representation that shows that they purchased that work of art, but then they actually have the physical work of art too. We see a number of artists on ID.art doing that.
It's a professional thing to do. It's a professional thing to do. I mean, to give both. If they buy the original, you also, you get the NFT. I have the case of this lawyer with the wife. They bought 4 pieces, and I offer. But some people don't, and it's okay. But it's there.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and the reason why it's important with the certificates of authenticity, and you can talk to the gallery about it. When someone buys it, if you give them that certificate of authenticity with the artwork, it has that QR code, so the content is still there. So even if they're in their home and someone asks them about that beautiful work of art, who's the artist, tell me about it, they can actually show the certificate, scan that code, and again, all of that content that you've put on ID.art is right there, even for the buyer to review and utilize after the sale.
Yeah, that's something I really have to look into it, because like I said, so far the gallery take care of it. They have their own thing, but it's good to have it, and because I really have not really gone into it, like see how exactly it works, because it creates automatically, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right. Right now you can click on any of your images. It says certificate of authenticity. If you click on it, you'll see that certificate. It's generated automatically from the information that you've provided. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then you can customize the certificate too. So if you wanted to have your signature on it or your logo, etc., that can all be customized.
I see it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. So yes. So if someone goes to your ID.art page and clicks on that certificate, they'll be able to see that as well.
Yeah. What happens is I haven't clicked it yet, because I'm not looking for my own work to be certified to myself. But if somebody does, it's easy.
You know your work is authentic. You don't have to prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
As the creator. Speaking of which, as the creator,
if I doubt my own work, I mean, that would be something. Huh?
One of the other things we've been talking a lot about with some of the artists on ID.art is BTS. You know what BTS stands for?
No.
Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. I think people want to see, how the sausage is made. You have an iPhone
they are
known. So as an artist, when you're creating your art, I think it's great. Take your phone out, take some pictures and video of your studio. What does your studio look like? What were the sketches? Show the blank canvas before you start painting on it. Take pictures of it in various stages of progress.
And then you can
add that. Yes,
I do that with social media.
Content. But take that content and add it to the ID.art page for that particular work of art, so that you're really showing the story. Yes, you can add all that content there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think behind the scenes, and that creates value for your artwork, because when someone sees the work that went into it, when someone sees the thought behind it, when someone understands, what it meant to you, what the story was, that enhances the value of the work.
Absolutely. But where is that feature? Where do you find that feature?
So for any of,
or you say, you just load
on
it.
the page, you edit. If you go into any one of your twins,
Okay.
and edit it, you can add additional images. You can add images, you can add video,
okay.
you can add files. Yes, within the page for each item. So you're not just limited to the initial picture of the painting. You can add, we have some artists who have pictures at the back of the canvas so you can see the date and signature. We have some artists who have put videos of them painting the painting. So all of that behind the scenes stuff, everything that adds to the narrative and story behind that work of art can be added to ID.art, and then it stays with that particular work of art forever.
Okay, and do you do that? Okay, if you are in the image, then where you add the rest of the images?
You can
So
add
if you go into edit it,
any artwork, so actually it doesn't matter if you're adding images or video, it's just in the upload section of each artwork.
Yeah. And we have
okay.
Yeah.
When you originally create the twin,
or later on, you can go to it now and edit it. If you go into your control panel, and you select the image you want to add content for and edit it, click the editing button, then you can add images, videos, files, sketches, anything you want. Text. You can even record a little video yourself and leave a little video story next to the artwork from inside ID.art from your phone, if you're using it on a phone.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have detail for you and for all the artists who are listening. We have detailed FAQs and tutorials at ID.art to make it very easy to find all these features. It's very feature rich, so you need to take the time to dive in, but it's also very easy to use.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to mention is that when we were talking about certificates of authenticity, is that they're customizable. So actually, even if the gallery wants to be the one issuing the certificates using ID.art, you can edit the section where it says issued by, because by default it would say that it's issued by you, the artist, but you can edit that and you could put the gallery name in. So you could definitely talk to the gallery about exploring that opportunity.
That's great.
Yep. So this was great. Do we have any questions from the audience for Jesus, even about ID.art or about his career as a working artist who gets to pursue his art, which is congratulations on organizing that for yourself. It's wonderful. I just have a question for you as an artist. I noticed that you do different things, different styles. You have the painting on rocks, you have the canvas work, watercolors. What drives that choice when you have something in mind? Like, do you first think, oh, today I want to paint rocks? Or do you first have some visualization of the art and then you decide which medium is going to be best for this visualization of the art?
No. It come across. I mean, for example, the stones. The stone was something very funny. I mean, we with my girlfriend, we go to see this friend of her that sings in books in Coral Gables. Yeah. And as a decor, they have outside. They have these beautiful, already clean, washed white stones. So that was very inviting. So I started, as we exit to get the car, I get one stone to one stone, and then I arrive home, and because I do sketches on these books, I say, yeah, okay, how about this image here, and automatically I start painting, and then I paint another, and then we went to see her friend sing, and then as a way out, a couple of more stones, so and so forth and so on. All of a sudden, I have like 25 painted stones. So it happens in the moment, So it's not necessarily planned, or
right.
Doug McCraw, which is my collector, my main collector, he sometimes he has suggested me, like, and some of his suggestions have been incredible because he one time he said, Jesus, what happens if you do a mosaic? I mean, I say, I have never done it, but wouldn't it be interesting? I say, yeah, as a matter of fact, and then you start thinking, it's like, okay, how it will be, so then, of course, at School of Art, I took, a few classes on mosaic and stuff. But at the time I did it, they did it, the ancient way with stones and, but here in the States, it's very popular glass. So that's it. I found a place that sold the glass, and Mr. McCraw was, putting the investment on it. So he said, buy whatever you need. I did, and it was a wonderful experience. I mean, it was that mosaic. As a matter of fact, we are thinking in the New Fact Village, we are planning to do some wall sometime, a mosaic. But
Mosaic, yeah.
it happened like this, and then I enjoy it so much because then it's always with the boxes, and so is one time it was like because I also like to paint on wood. I like the wood surface. So tabletops, for example, and I have a collection. I think there are 6 little bar tabletops. That you can regulate and to put your drink on and stuff, and they look wonderful. I still have one with me, but I sold the rest. It is a tabletop, but it happened like that. I mean, it's like, what if, what if, and as a matter of fact, I need more of those what if moments because the last time I was in the Sonamaco fair in Mexico, it's like the Art Basel of Mexico. It was incredible back in February. I mean, they have incredible, art. I mean, it's not only on paintings, but in objects. And then also is the challenge of creating your objects, and it's in the back of my mind, for example. And I'm sure eventually they are gonna come because once you think about it or once you make a note, it's gonna. It's something that I love about my career right now is I'm not too worried about when the time is coming. Time is very flexible right now for me. Super flexible. I mean, I'm finishing a 2-month painting. And before I have been doing like I did in 1 month, I did 4. And I'm talking about it's a decent sized painting. But I don't anymore. I'm concerned about the time, which is wonderful. It's also a great blessing. So it's gonna come. If it's in my brain, eventually it's gonna come. This thing that I mentioned, whatever I saw in Mexico, it's gonna eventually come out. What happens is right now I'm very stuck with certain ideas that are 2-dimensional, and I'm very much into my painting right now. But eventually, the 3D will come over, because that's another thing. If you look at my paintings, they are very flat. They are very 2-dimensional. They are very graphic, But when that translates into 3D painting an object, it's fantastic. It's like these boxes. I don't know if you noticed the boxes that I painted. It's the boxes, just the characters embrace the whole box. So it's great. Although they are flat, they graphic. It's a different perception. It's a different experience. Of it.
Yeah.
So that's it. I can't remember what was the original question.
No, you answered it, and it's interesting that you got the inspiration for the mosaics from one of your collectors.
Oh yeah.
When you talk about the different medium you've used, rocks, boxes, tables, glass mosaics, those are all physical mediums, but it's increasingly a digital world. So what's nice about ID.art is it kind of bridges the gap between those physical items and the digital world, because even though the rocks are physical, now you have a digital twin of them in your ID.art account, and you can share all of that information and share it digitally, even though it's a physical item. And I think when it comes to the different perspectives and dimensions you talked about, that's where the opportunity to add all those additional images so you could show the boxes and the rocks from different angles, different perspectives, to give a sense of their size. You can add all sorts of content that gives additional context that you wouldn't get just from a single picture, and that you wouldn't get digitally unless you physically were with the item. So I think ID.art really bridges that gap between the physical world and the digital world when you look at these objects. Anastasia?
Speaking of digital, we have questions from the audience here, and it's about NFTs, all of it. So there's a little bit of skepticism about NFTs as a concept. There is curiosity as how it's done on ID.art. So Jesus, if you could share your experience, how you came to the idea that you want to make NFTs and how did it work out?
Okay, there's a lot to say about NFTs. You know, there was a point that, you know, there was this crave, this fad, this thing that was like everybody was into NFTs, although most people didn't understood what it is. It took me a while, to be honest, to understand what NFTs are. And then you realize it's not as simple as just mint an NFT and it's right there in the blockchain, the whole thing about, you know, and the cryptocurrencies. Personally, these days, maybe it's because I'm doing well with my art and my representation, and we are doing good. I'm painting, I'm happy. I kind of cool down a little bit and put it aside because it's a little bit too complicated to understand. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of things going on regarding NFTs, you know. The way I personally see NFTs is more a marketing tool. It's more a promotional thing because if you when you sell the basic NFTs, it's basically promotional. You don't make a lot of money with it, you know. But certainly it's a way to promote your work, you know. So that's what it is. But maybe Jeff can explain a little bit more because the thing I have encountered is the difficulty that sometimes people get once they go to the NFT at the time of purchasing to connect with Rarible and OpenSea, which is what .art works with. So I haven't had that experience yet, you know. But maybe you, Jeff, can explain that side of it.
Well, I think there's many levels to NFTs, and really the underlying technology is what's exciting because the smart contract can allow an artist to receive royalties on subsequent sales of their work, which is something that hasn't really been done in the physical art world. You know, when something's sold at auction, it's the seller who benefits, not the original artist. It's a secondary sale. So the underlying technology of NFTs can address that with a smart contract so that an artist can continue to receive royalties on their work. So that's very interesting. I think there's been a lot of bad publicity. So Billy, I saw your question about, you know, you're skeptical. There's been a lot of bad publicity because there were, as Jesus mentioned, scams and sort of get rich quick schemes around NFTs. But in the art world itself, it's growing in popularity as a way of really having digital art that you can prove the ownership of, right? Because the NFT and the owner of the NFT is stored on a blockchain. It's immutable, so it's a way of really tracking the ownership of that particular work of art. So, you know, there's people who are selling their art, original art, as NFTs. It's digital artwork. But then, as we talked about earlier, another interesting way to utilize NFTs is in addition to the physical work of art, as we talked about earlier, where if someone buys a painting, they can also get the NFT of that painting along with it so that they have a digital representation and something that actually proves their ownership of that work of art. Another concept that Ovi, the .art founder, and I were talking to with a gallery at one of the art fairs we attended, which was interesting. Imagine if you have a painting and it's a painting for sale for $20,000. Imagine if you created a limited edition set of 10 NFTs of that painting, because each NFT is unique. So you can have a limited edition of 10 NFTs of that painting and sold those NFTs for $2,000 each instead of the $20,000 for the original. Now, if you sold all 10 NFTs, you would have gotten the $20,000 you wanted to. But also, you've now created a very select community of people who have a vested interest in that work of art, because every one of those 10 NFT owners is going to be asking themselves, well, there's only one original, there's 10 NFTs. One of us 10 is probably going to want to own that original. So maybe I should buy it before one of the other people do. So you might actually create a very select community of people very interested in that original work by first selling them a less expensive NFT. So in the end, you might sell 10 NFTs for $20,000 and sell the painting for $20,000. So there's a lot of new ways to utilize this technology, and a lot of it's still being experimented with and discovered now. But I think the technology, the underlying technology, is here to stay, and I think the use cases will evolve and change and improve over time.
I agree with you, Jeff. I mean, totally. I mean, it's a tool. Actually, NFTs is really a good tool, promotional, to enhance the value of the original painting, because the original painting is going to be the original painting no matter what, you know. So indeed, you know, something that is not going to go away. I mean, this thing is going to evolve, and it's here to stay. You know, what exactly is going to happen, I don't know. But right now, maybe because of, you know, kind of old school stuff, but in my opinion, nothing is going to replace the original. Now, this is a good addition in the sense that, like, for example, in my case, it's a marketing tool. You know, it's like I have NFTs just because it's a good marketing tool, not because, you know, I'm gonna, because that the mistake I think artists made is, oh, I'm gonna make a bunch of money with, you know, selling NFT. You know, maybe eventually down the road, and some artists also, you know, I mean, have done it, but very few. I mean, so don't think you're gonna make a lot of money, you know, with the NFTs. Eventually, you might, but I will say it's something to not only keep an eye open to it, but you know, be somehow involved, like I am. You know, I'm not a very technical guy. I'm not very computer, you know, oriented person and digital stuff and whatever, but for example, in the case of that art, you guys make it easy to mint. Just mint it. You know, have your NFTs ready, and that's it. You know, because people like to. By the way, people like to. You know, it's like to hear that. Oh, he has NFTs. I mean, it's like it gives you some. You know, it's like, so you are up to date kind of thing. You know, it's like, and it's good to know a little bit of it. You know, it's like some artists are more savvy than others, I guess. Like, also, some artists are better in sales than other artists. So it depends what do you do with it, or how you approach it, you know. So, but in any case, that art has opened the door for that possibility as well.
Yeah, it's easy to experiment with it from within the ID.art platform. Yeah. Susan in the comments asked about if NFTs can be displayed. It can be displayed. And actually, there are galleries that are digital galleries now that, even though it's a physical gallery that you walk into, all of the artwork on display is digital art and NFTs. And there have been sideshows during Art Basel in Miami, that have displayed just digital art, just NFTs. There's a gallery called ID.art in Dubai that is a physical gallery, but the walls are all screens, and they do exhibitions of NFTs and digital art. And in fact, the official artist for .art, Medina Kasimova, she's going to be having an exhibition in that gallery in Dubai as well. So there are definitely ways to display NFTs, and they are being displayed in many places, including museums.
Yeah, Ingrid is adding that she had her NFTs digitally displayed and been to digital art galleries. It's quite neat.
Yeah. One of the other interesting areas, since we're just talking about this technical stuff, is generative art and AI. And one of the .art adopters is the very famous Turkish artist Refik Anadol, and he just announced recently that they're building an AI, a generative art museum in Los Angeles called Dataland. And you can find out more about that at dataland.art. But he's doing some fascinating things with AI and generative art, and just really experimenting with how technology can influence art, but it's still art that he's created, and it's still art that he is orchestrating, but he's leveraging AI to have the art change and evolve based on other inputs and data. It's very fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I've put the links in the comment section in case anyone wants to explore.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'll turn it back to you, Anastasia. We're almost at the top of the hour. Are there any other questions or final remarks from you or Jesus?
I think it's been great. Thank you, Jesus, for sharing your experience and giving us all this advice. Please keep us posted, update your page. We'll keep track of it too. There is a gallery section actually on ID.art when you can send where our artworks of different artists pop up sometimes. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more of what you do with it and exploring the features that Jeff mentioned that you haven't explored yet.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure. You know, like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be very happy with, with the page.
No, and thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure a lot of the artists who've been watching and listening today will be inspired by, you started your career by winning a contest at the zoo at age 7, and now being able to really focus on just creating art. So congratulations to you, and thanks again for sharing your story and your experiences with ID.art with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks, everyone.